Hey there, it is January. Happy New Year, everybody, 2025. In the Micro Four Thirds community, we got some really awesome news on January 6th. I'm just getting to this today, but I'm super excited to just talk about this. You know, I've been on the fence about getting another camera. I sold some of my camera gear late last year in anticipation of some new cameras coming out this year, but I wasn't sure if I was going to stick in the Micro Four Thirds ecosystem or jump to APS-C, or maybe full frame. All of those systems are having smaller camera bodies. But at the end of the day, I just really love OM Systems, Olympus, Panasonic, and just the Micro Four Thirds ecosystem. I just want them to get back into being more innovative and packing more and more hybrid features into their smaller cameras and just give us something new and exciting and what doesn't feel like a rehash of really old products and parts that they just had, you know, kind of lingering, especially OM Systems and their acquisition of Olympus 5 years ago. So we got some great news, as I said in this letter. Let's take a look. This letter here dropped, and this is from OM Digital Solutions. I'll leave a link in the description. And this is their New Year greeting and prospects for 2025. Now, you've probably already seen this, and some people have talked about this, but I've read this letter over and over again, and it's really convinced me to wait and not jump on a Sony a6700 or jumping into a full-frame Lumix or Canon yet until we see what they're going to release. And this letter very clearly indicates that there is a new camera coming out, but there's a lot of information in this letter that I think is really exciting. So, you know, the letter, I mean, you can read through the whole thing on your own. It wishes everybody a happy new year, and it talks about, you know, some of the profits are doing good. And I think there's a key point here that they are saying, fiscal period concluding in March, they are expecting to be increased profit and revenue. Profitable growth, more business information. But here, about halfway down, is where the exciting stuff really comes from this letter from Shigeru Sugimoto. First of all, as we all know, OM Systems seems to have been focused solely on wildlife for the last few years. Everything they release, all of their ambassadors, all seem to be basically focused on this, along with some landscape photographers. But what people have really been clamoring for is something to compete with what other brands are offering, which would be amazing offerings for street and travel photography and other outdoor activities aside from birding, wildlife, and macro photography. And I think this paragraph right here, a lot of people are skipping. Everybody's jumping down to here, and I'll just jump ahead and say, you know, like new camera lineup. We're adding a new one. And here's the other very exciting, I'm very excited about this too, because this is something people have actually been asking for years and years and years, even when this was still Olympus and not OM Systems. Compact, single focal length lenses, in other words, primes, that are splash and dust proof. We've had great small lenses in like the f1.8 range and the f2 plus range that are small and compact primes, but they're not weather sealed. The classic 17 millimeter, the 20, the 25, and some of these other ones. The non-pro lenses have never been weather sealed by Olympus or OM Systems. And the ones that are quite expensive, although I think they're worth their value, but they are large and heavy. If we can start getting small lenses like this one here, this is actually a Lumix 9 millimeter. If we can start getting small compact lenses like this, or even smaller, from OM Systems that are weather sealed, or at least dust and splash resistant, on these small bodies, like the EM5 or the OM5 or the new body that's coming out, the rumored OM3. But if you read in between the lines, and trust me, when these CEOs write letters and release press releases, every word is considered and every word has meaning. And you can just guarantee that nothing in this letter is said randomly or as a mistake. As we look into the future of the camera business, we will provide more options for compact, lightweight, splash and dust-proof products to expand horizons for our customers. Computational photography, dust reduction system, IBIS. While these have all been highly regarded by professional photographers, they will now be available to both existing and new customers, all created to meet the challenges of harsh outdoor environments to ensure that you enjoy, actually this is the kicker, not only landscape photography in the great outdoors. I'll say up until this point, their line has basically been everything they are doing is for the photographer in the great outdoors. They really didn't want to acknowledge these other use cases. Now they are finally releasing a statement that says, not only landscape photography in the great outdoors. Show me an official message from them in the past that sounded anything that bold. Where it goes on to say, but also authentic photos of everyday life. If that's not a hint at street photography and travel photography and just a great, wonderful system getting back to kind of the roots of Olympus, I don't know what is. Additionally, we are continuing to work hard to bring to market the long-awaited mid-range telephoto lens on our lens roadmap by the end of the year. This is very exciting. Some of the other hints that we've seen online, some of the YouTube influencers seem to be hinting that they are going to Japan. And I am thinking between that and this mentioning March up here, I think that's when we're going to start either seeing some announcements, or that's when they will be maybe showing stuff to influencers or releasing the NDAs. It does sound like some of the influencers already know something and have seen more than just what's in this letter and just can't say anything. So I'm hoping March or maybe sooner that NDA gets lifted and we get this exciting news drop. Now look, there's a lot riding on this, in my opinion. I'm still on the fence. And I think this is really the release that is going to determine whether I stay with Micro Four Thirds or not. There are offerings in the type of photography I want to do. I can get an A6700 from Sony, or I can get, multiple other cameras that are really not much bigger. They're a little bit heavier, but not much bigger than this EM5 or the OM5. So larger sensor camera systems are packing in full hybrid functionality in both video and photography into smaller and smaller bodies. Now, of course, Micro Four Thirds, it will give you the smaller lenses, but there are some prime weather-sealed pancake lenses on the APS-C and full-frame compacts that are coming out that give me what I need for walking around doing street photography and travel photography. Not that much bigger. Now, of course, for wildlife, you're still talking about the giant zooms, and that's where I would still probably want to stay with Micro Four Thirds or maybe APS-C. But I really, really hope, and it seems like the excitement is pointing to, this is going to be a key moment for OM Systems and for the Micro Four Thirds community, where we finally get a really amazing compact and we start kicking off a season of OM System finally releasing new products and not rehashes and leftover parts from the past. Now, we don't know any details. There has been some leaks of, potentially what looks like an OM3 body based on the old Olympus OM3 film camera, which will be a nice rangefinder style and really go with the trends that are hot right now and compete with the likes of the X100 or maybe a Nikon ZF, maybe. That kind of body is really popular right now. I am thinking that is what's coming out, but what's inside the camera and what are the capabilities going to be? Is it going to be a reused sensor from the OM5? Is it going to be the sensor from the OM1? Are they going to be using the 43 megapixel Micro Four Thirds sensor from Sony? Maybe they'll pare it down and give us 25, 30 megapixels. Who knows? Let's hope it's something innovative and amazing and sets the groundwork for other future bodies that might come. Maybe the successor to the OM1.2 or another body in the future. But anyways, Happy New Year, everybody. hang in there if you're on the fence about getting a camera. And look, Ricoh is also coming out with the GR4 that's also announced for this year. So now is the time, I would say, over the next couple months to wait and see. If you already have a camera and you don't need a camera right now, and you are in the Micro Four Thirds system, or you're thinking about a Ricoh GR3 or 3X, honestly, I would say wait. These new cameras, they might be expensive when they come out, but that will also lead to more used last generation cameras on the market, which are going to be perfectly fine and should help drive down some of those resale prices of the older models. So have a great 2025. Thank you for joining me on BMad Photo. Again, the link to this letter to read for yourself is in the description, so check it out, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. My name is Brian, and this is BMad Photo, and we'll see you next time.